Lake Central High School. It's a great music program there.
Does your mom happen to teach there also? Or?
She does, yes. Yeah, her and I both teach there. I teach lessons there during the week. So it's fun to be able to go back and see my director still doing the same things and doing a great job, and me being able to teach students that are under him as well.
That's great.
Yeah,
very,
it's a lot of
very
fun.
cool. Well, let me ask you, do you have any other talents besides singing? It sounds like you're pretty occupied with singing, but is there anything else there?
Well,
I mean, besides the fact that you're obviously a bright fellow and all that, I mean...
Sure. I like to... I don't think that I would call it a talent, but I like to write.
Do you?
Yeah.
Music
so,
or...
Well, I write all the music on the album, but I like to write, writing in general, whether that's a blog post or article or some kind of anything, really. I like to write. I like to think that I'm gifted with words. I like to do that. I'm really good at ultimate frisbee at a very amateur level.
I want you to know something. Yeah. My cousins, when they were at the University of Wisconsin at Madison, started ultimate frisbee.
Really?
Yeah, they had the very first ultimate frisbee team. They created this thing, and it caught on like wildfire.
No way.
Absolutely.
That's great.
So
yeah, I first got into it at my church, and I'm sure everybody that's listening to this right now is laughing because they don't. I probably overstated. I'm not very good. I'm sufficient, but I like it a lot.
Great.
So, yeah.
Now I also understand that you do a mean Louis Armstrong.
Oh my gosh!
Impression.
I was really hoping you wouldn't ask about that. But the story goes that I was trying out, and the way American Idol works is so backwards from how I think a lot of people think it works, because the way that they do it on film is they make it seem like it's a one-day experience kind of a thing.
Right.
But really, it's a 3 or 4 day experience that you have to go through in order to finally see Paula, Simon, and Randy, depending on who you are and whatnot. But the way that they do auditions is they'll do a football stadium. They'll line you up in rows of 4.
And we're talking about thousands and upon
20,000 plus
of
people when I
out.
auditioned. I think it might be more. I have no idea how many people auditioned now.
This was down at the...
This was at Soldier
Field.
We went and... they have you, there's 15 tents on the field, and then you're kind of herded into a line of 4 at one tent, standing in front of 2 producers. And, there's rumors going around at every single tent, or between all the contestants, as far as, don't get tent number 15, the judges are really mean, or, get tent 11, everybody's going through there. And so I get filed into the tent that actually everybody wanted to get into, and my friend who I came with actually got filed into the tent that nobody wanted to go to. So I actually ended up making it, and she didn't. Well, it turned out that there's tons of downtime in the audition process. It's the phrase "hurry up and wait" really rings true for a lot of the audition process, because you rush into getting to where you're supposed to be, and then you sit down and wait anywhere between 3 and 6 hours till your next thing, and then you rush. So anyway, during some downtime, I was about to audition in front of the executive producers of the show, which they're in charge of So You Think You Can Dance. They're that Nigel Judge. He's one of the executive producers for American Idol. Anyway, so it's almost time for me to audition, and I'm sitting there waiting, in a lower ranked, I guess, producer comes up to me, and he's just kind of doing the same thing you are. He's just asking me questions about who I am, interests, hidden talents, and such. And he got to hidden talents, and I said, well, I can do... I said, I've never lost in thumb wrestling, and I can do a mean Louis Armstrong impersonation.
Okay.
And he said, go ahead and do it. And I don't do it anymore just because it hurts my voice too much, but I did one for him, and he made a note. And then I didn't think of anything of it. Well, that's actually how I made it to see Paul and Simon and Randy, was my Louis Armstrong impersonation, because once I got in front of the executive producers, everybody has to sing the same song. For the second audition, they always do these montages. That's why, you see everybody singing the same song, and you think, why are they all picking this one song? It's because they make everybody sing, this one song so they can do that. And it was Voulez-vous, it was that Lady Marmalade song that we all had to sing. And I was sitting in front of them, and I was about to sing it, and they said, it says here that you do a mean Louis Armstrong impersonation. And I said, yeah. And they said,
they had to do
that.
it in Louis?
Yeah, they had me sing Lady Marmalade, that Voulez-vous coucher avec moi song. Right, exactly. As Louis Armstrong. And I did that, and they loved it, so they just said, you're through to Paul and Simon and Randy just on that.
Oh my goodness.
But let's actually hear your real voice. And then, kind of all the pressure's off and I don't have to.
Sounds like intensity, intensity.
Yeah. So that's actually what got me to see them. So
that is cool.
I thank Louis forever and ever for that. So.
Now, I'm going to go back and forth with some of these questions.
Sure.
What have you been, I know that you're coming out with an album now, but there's several years that passed between the time you were in American Idol and the present time. What have you been doing since American Idol?
Well, after I got off the show, I took a semester and I did an independent record in Crystal Lake.
You were in high school at that time.
I was senior year of high school.
Okay.
And but the fall following, I was going to go to U of I to major in music education, but I deferred for a semester so I could work on this album. It was called Swing On By. So I think it might still be available online, probably CD Baby or something like that has it, but it's more of like a big band sound kind of a thing. And because I was doing all the Frank Sinatra, Michael Bublé kind of stuff like that.
Sure.
And so I took a semester off, did that, went to community college, and then I transferred over to U of I at Champaign-Urbana and studied music there, vocal performance and music education. And then that's really when I started writing music. Up until that point, I had not written music. And it was just through one friend of mine got me into it, and it's just became something of a routine. In my weeks, I would just begin writing music. I had a little, crappy electric piano in my dorm room. Yeah. And I had equally crappy guitar, and I would just write music on it and lyrics. And and I would always test it with my friends and even just strangers that would walk down the hall. You're writing something, and I don't know if there's any writers listening to this, but you'll relate with me if you are. I mean, you write something, and you need to know what the response is in order to kind of test it to know if it's good. Right. And so I would always be sharing it with my roommate and saying, who was not a music aficionado at all. I mean, he wasn't, but still, you need to share it with somebody, and he was really all I had. So I said, "What do you think of this?" And he would have said yes or no, good or bad. And so that continued. All throughout college, I would keep writing these songs in the practice rooms, at the basement of my dorm rooms, grabbing people from outside, coming, saying, "Come here, listen to this. Is this? What do you think?" And that's kind of just how my writing style developed.
So you wrote a heck of a lot of songs through college.
Yeah. Many of which I don't play anymore because I don't even remember them. But I wrote a lot. I would spend hours just in these practice rooms.
So you graduated from U of I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduated in 2010, just a couple years ago, with a degree in music ed. And I thought about teaching for a while, but started doing this stuff instead. So.
Well, you say you do teach them.
Well, I teach privately. Yeah, I'm not really hired by the school. I'm just kind of a private, freelance kind of.
Well, you can do that anytime. You can go back. It's always there if you want it.
Right. Exactly. So, I can.
So then, what are your goals?
The goal would be to do this full time, meaning the Grey Havens, being able to play shows and record our music and have a following that allows us to just do it full time without having to, as much as Alicia loves Starbucks and as much as I love teaching, the goal is to be able to do this.
Okay, now I think what we're going to do right now is play Gray Flowers.
Okay.
Which is the next song on your album.
Absolutely.
So here we go.
The color-coded town, they had one rule: no grays allowed. It was a great offense. It brought no compliments. A stranger to the town, he came and met a girl that very few would say is worth thinking of. Still he fell in love, and he brought her flowers every day. And she loved them, she loved him, she never felt that way. But they said, hey, those flowers, they are gray. they can't stand. No, no, well, we'll let it slide. But read our signs, we don't like grace. Then one day they saw her in a dress, a gift from him that was gray and red. It stopped them in their tracks. Ooh, they knew it matched. A revolution there was surely found inside that color-coded town. Some happy, some enraged, so they marched on over to the place where he brought her flowers every day. She loved him, she never felt that way. But they cried, let's take him to his grave. He can't stay, no, no, well, we done told him once, but now he's done, they cried. He told you stay away from that crazy color. Turn around, if you don't, we'll break you, and you don't have anyone to save you. He said she needs me to stay, cause gray can take her sorrow. So I will die tonight so she will know the gray will stay in the color code. Yeah, for my love I will die, you know, but before I do, let the record show that I brought her flowers every day. She loved me, she never felt that way. So if you feel you need some gray, that's okay, child, cause you know you just got to ask, and I'll come back. You know you just got to ask, and I'll come back. You know you just got to ask, and I'll come back and give you grace.
Al Weissman, in a nutshell, that was Gray Flowers, Gray Havens was the name of the group. Where Eyes Don't Go is the name of the album.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we're going to have to break for a few minutes, so don't go away. We'll be back with some more of David Radford and Where Eyes Don't Go.